Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Great Tuesday. We have a lot of projects going on here in the Atkinson house. We're building those garden beds, that project that I'm starting with the 2,100 pounds of manure out there. Guys, it's been something else. So come in, share this. Tell me where you're watching from. We're really going to kind of chat and get into some things. This is my living room, my office today. My office has tons of just stuff in it. I've been moving things around and redoing things, and so I've got a lot of stuff in there. So I'm out here in the living room. I'm trying to change up how it looks in there. There's a lot of equipment. But share it. Share this if you feel like it's a blessing to you, and if you feel like it could bless somebody else, because we're going to be talking about prophetically what is literally happening for the children of God who have prepared and who have been in that place with Him to know how to navigate the tide, the rising tide that we're in. And I want to prophetically talk about that. And since this channel is a lot shadow banned, there is supposed to be 100,000 on this platform, and any given time I may have maybe 50 people watching, or 1,000 views, which mathematically doesn't make any sense. But I have a lot of bots, blocking bots or fact checker bots that follow me. But if you share, and you like, then the bots can't help it, and the feed gets out. And this is important because I am an evangelist and I want people to know what to do. So I have had a really big download and revelation about a lot of people in the body of Christ right now that are having prison clothes. This is the image that I got. Prison clothes being taken off and royal robes being distributed. And the only thing that I immediately could think of was Joseph. Joseph was in prison for 10 years, and his spirit of excellence and his wisdom and his revelation was unnoticed for 10 years of his life. He was constantly just abused, used, and just falsely accused constantly. But there was a moment overnight that he was remembered for having such an incredible gift by someone that was standing in a very high position next to the Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh said, well, you know what? Go ahead and bring him up. He came up from the dungeon. He presented his fantastic gifts in front of a very important governmental figure, and the prison clothes were taken off and the royal robes were put on. And he forever stayed in a dignitary, ambassadoress type of position to the day that Joseph died. It happened that quick. And the prison clothes coming off of some of you that are watching this, it's time for you to get in position for the crisis that we're heading into. Now, all of the big heads are starting to talk about it. Perry Stone posted a video on YouTube this morning about the financial crisis that's headed our way. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Perry. Thank you for talking about it. Not that he doesn't ever talk about political issues. He does, because he's like me. He's an end-time preacher. And you can't talk about the end times without talking about things that directly affect our lives, because the entire book of Revelation is kings and presidents and prime ministers moving around, shifting, economic woes, pandemics, and all the things. But he's talking about it, and we're all talking about it. And I didn't know. I was on the phone with my friend Larry. We were doing a Zoom call with another acquaintance of ours that we're working on a project together, and we were kind of talking about the crisis and the markets right now. And I didn't know that when the Great Depression happened, it wasn't like an overnight crash, like boom, there's a Great Depression. They actually had the same thing that just happened to us 2 weeks ago or last week, when the market crashed and it plummeted on that Monday when we all woke up. Well, when the Great Depression happened, something similar like that happened, and it was propped back up artificially, which is exactly what they did this time. Now, that money that flooded into the market after everything crashed on Wall Street was fake money. They printed money to blow this thing up because why? We have an election to get through, okay? And so things cannot fall apart right now. Recently, we had Jerome Powell, and the talk on the street is just like I said. I said this back in March, that Jerome Powell was going to come out and start lowering interest rates, and that was going to be a big problem, because when Jerome Powell begins to lower interest rates, even though they're 0.25, a fraction of a little percent, it's just going to make the bubble so much bigger, and it's going to get out of control. So we're already reliving the same type of scenario that we were going through not even 100 years ago through the Great Depression. Not, what was it, 70 years ago? 70, 80, something like that. It really wasn't that long ago. And it was so severe economically on the people that even the ones that lived through it, like my grandparents, like my grandmother's mother or my grandmother, they had PTSD for years. Like, I heard one story about, I think Perry talked to, was it? No, somebody else I was listening to, they were talking about the Great Depression, and they were saying how one of their family members who lived through that forever would reuse tinfoil because they were so afraid that the lack was going to come back, and so they didn't want to waste anything. So they would use tinfoil, and then they would put the tinfoil up, fold it up, and then use it again on something else. So these type of economic situations, they really affect people for generations. The Josephs that are rising, however, they will not be in lack. They won't be in lack because they knew exactly the strategy of what's to come. Now, this is something that we cannot pray away. And you guys who follow me on YouTube know, and I've preached about this, that the black horse that rides in Revelation, the economic horse, I do not believe it's this one that's going to be hitting us. This is, I think, primarily just going to be for our nation. It's just going to humble America so that the revival can come in, but it's going to be severe. The black horse, when it rides, which is the economic horse, which is Revelation 5, and that black horse when it rides is when the Bible says a day's wage will be what it takes to buy a loaf of bread. But when horses ride, when the seal horses ride, that is a global event. Now, we've also discussed, you don't have to agree with me. This is not a salvation issue. You don't have to agree that the seals are beginning to pop open. That's so fine. Like, it's okay. We can agree to disagree. I still love you, but I know where I am in time. And we are the generation that will see the return of Christ. And we are living in the book of Revelation right now for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear it. This economic problem, this crisis like we've never seen, will hit the U.S. American soil. And there are going to be multimillionaires that are made in this depression. There were multiple multimillionaires that were made out of the Great Depression. New money, quick money came in to certain people that were ready, who were able to solve a problem and saw holes in the market, and they were able to take care of things that brought in a lot of income because everybody was in such depravity. Not only that, there were a lot of businessmen and a lot of economic people, or just people in general, maybe hearing from the Holy Spirit during the Great Depression time, that saw the train wreck coming and was able to get their assets and their money in areas that not only preserved what they had, but compounded what they had. These Josephs that rise, I have been speaking about this for 10 years, and now I finally am seeing the fruit in my own life, and I'm seeing it in the fruit of the others I have mentored and that I have coached, or just people that have followed me for years. I'm starting to see the fruit begin to produce in their lives, that the prison clothes have finally come off and royal garments are starting to be put on the Josephs, on the remnant, who are to be rising up to take care of the mess that's going to hit this nation. Multiple retail stores. I even heard about one today that's closing all of its stores, a competitor to Home Depot, closing all of its stores. It is a major competitor in the paint department at Home Depot, and they're closing all stores. The retail segment, every single, I had to go get a few pieces for the photo shoot that we did for the ministry, and we were walking around just trying to find different suits and business suits for my daughter, for my assistant, for myself to take professional pictures. And about 8 out of these 10 stores were going out of business. They were selling everything, like 50, 70% off, store-wide clean out. There's nobody in these malls. There's nobody really buying. Nobody can afford anything. We still have grocery stores that are full of food for sure, because that's kind of like the last thing to go. But we have had catastrophe in our own food productions. We have really bad war drums beating on the countries that deliver us imported things, right? From those nations over there, the BRICS nations that bring imported, we import just about everything in this nation. We don't have to, but the administration and the people that run this country have outsourced everything. Nothing really comes in that we are producing on our own. Everything is just brought in. So, we go to war with these countries, guess what? All of our imports cease. Products cease. The wheat from Ukraine and all the places cease. I think it'll be a very great multi-million-dollar opportunity for Americans when we start producing our own things here as the Great Depression ×2 hits our country here soon. It'll be a great time, but for the ones who are listening to the Lord's voice, for the ones who are positioning themselves in the right things and being under the right mentorship, not only to weather the storm, not only to preserve what they have in retirements, but to compound and exponentially just whoosh the assets that they already have. The Lord has taught me. I showed you guys yesterday. People are like, why are you showing people your business? I'm not showing it to be braggadocious. I'm one of those people that are showing other people, because if I'm going to take a class from you, I want to know that you've done it. If I'm going to learn from you, I want to know what you've accomplished. I want to know what you've done. I want to know, did it succeed? And you need to have proof of it. There's so many talking heads out there that they say they can do something and they have no fruit or proof in their life that they've done anything. So mentorship, knowing exactly where you're supposed to be, because guys, there are going to be people that are going to be funding and lending to the churches. They're going to be funding and lending to the projects that the Lord has put on because this is going to hit everybody. This economic problem is going to hit the entire United States. It's going to rain on the just and unjust. We're all going to get wet. Remember in my dream, I was drenched just like everybody else was, but I wasn't, we all had different levels of the catastrophe that hit us. Some had their, clothes off and, the wind took off their, some of us in the dream were more clothed and more prepared than others. This is really going to affect the ones who choose either two things. They're frozen in fear, so therefore they do absolutely nothing. I've noticed that people in fear, because I've gotten a lot of emails, can I have a one-on-one with you because I'm so afraid, I just need confirmation or I just need encouragement to move this or move that. No, I'm not a financial advisor and I cannot break the spirit of fear if you do not want to break the spirit of fear off of you. Doing nothing is worse than doing nothing. Doing nothing is worse than doing nothing, right? I mean, it just cancels each other out. The spirit of fear freezes people and it causes them to be unfruitful. That's why the Bible says that laziness and fear go together. They're cousins. The lazy man says that there's a lion outside, is what Proverbs says. Well, you make all kind of excuses why you can't do something because of fear. So therefore you do nothing and then nothing gets produced. And then another reason is people don't believe it. They're in unbelief. Everything is going well for them. Maybe they're not out of a job. Maybe they're still getting fed. But even that, at some point, because of the economic problem that we're going through, will completely disappear and will drop into the abyss, just like we had 2 weeks ago when the market fell out. And remember I said, this isn't it. It's going to rebound. It's like a cat, like a dead cat bounce. It's going to rebound because we're in an election year. But there is going to come a time later on, I think it's going to be after the election, soon after the election, that it's just going to fall into a black hole and never come back. And that's everything you've ever worked for your whole life. It's going to be pretty bad. The ones that have invested in the cryptocurrencies, the ones that have invested in the specific technologies or tangible assets or different stock exchange products, because money doesn't disappear, it changes hands, they will make it. They will make it. Even some foreign currencies that some of us have invested in, you're going to make it. You're not only going to make it, you're going to have so much capital to be able to buy up everything that's on a fire sale, which is the whole point. A lot of people also ask, well, what should I do? Should I do cryptocurrencies? Should I do gold and silver? Should I do this or should I do that? Well, it really just depends on, that's what the class is for. That's what the course is for, because there's some of you that are getting into assets and you're getting into the cryptocurrencies on your own, but all you're doing is just death grip. You're just holding them. That's going to make you poor. That's not a strategy. Holding on to assets with dear life is not a strategy, because if you're not holding on to the right ones, then right, it's got to be the right assets at the right time. Some of you are holding on to assets that are temporary, that are only supposed to be held on for temporary, and some of you are not holding on long enough to the ones that are supposed to be long term. Some of you are trying to put all your money in gold and silver, but you don't have any money. So the little bit of silver or gold that you have is maybe like this much, and that's not going to produce a dividend. Some of you are so spread out on your portfolio investments that you're not going to make any money, because if you're working with small amounts of money and you're too spread out, it's not going to produce a compounded return like I was showing you on my reels yesterday. That money is from cryptocurrencies. You have to be able to have a strategy. Holding long term is not a strategy. Holding short term on things is not a strategy. Getting in and out of things too prematurely is not a strategy. Buying the wrong asset, depending on how much you have, is the wrong strategy. I mean, if you're barely working with any amount of money, which is a lot of what I hear, I don't have a lot to invest because everyone's strapped with where the economy is, and you're asking me if you should buy gold and silver, my answer is absolutely not. You don't have enough money to buy gold and silver. And plus, you're not even going to make a huge dividend on what you can buy. You need to go straight for the cryptocurrencies that can drop 2 or 3 zeros within 30 days. I gave the example yesterday. This is Joseph. Listen to me. I'm telling you how to prepare for what's ahead. I'm trying to get through to you that your family may not be able to eat if you do not heed the warnings and you don't get help on how to hedge or build wealth. This is going to be so vital that you're going to have to go to different churches or different ministries to get bills paid, but those ministries are probably going to be fed financially by the Josephs that prepared for this storm that's coming, because I've had 10 years to prepare for this. So if you are not working with much money, like the example that I gave yesterday, you put $100 into the specific assets that I talk about in my masterclass, and you wait for specific price points. That $100, if that asset drops 3 zeros, is $100,000. That's not possible, Lauren. Yes, it is. It's happened to me twice. That's the beauty of cryptocurrencies. It's so liquid and it's so explosive that it's able to give so much capital so quickly to the ones who know how to use it and know how to invest in it. Now, you would take something like that, the $100,000 that you got, and you would not go buy yourself a Lamborghini. You would not go buy yourself a new home. Not yet. You put that money into a pick. Either, more gold and silver, where you can put it in your safe, not paper. Maybe if you're dealing with that kind of money, I would say vault it. You could put it in different stocks that I also list, that I'm going to be listing because I'm building out the masterclass, in certain areas that produce a dividend. See, having wealth and having money is a strategy. The Josephs know the strategy. You need to partner up. If you're unready for what's coming, you need to partner up or invest money in courses that will teach you how to have a strategy. Not teach you how to be a millionaire. It's teach you how to have a strategy to be able to create wealth for yourself. And a lot of this, as I also talked about, is you learning how also, once you gain capital, because many people, just like the lottery winners, many people will gain capital and they'll become really wealthy overnight, but it flows right through their hands because they have no wisdom on how to compound it. They have no wisdom how to cash flow it. If you don't cash flow the capital that comes into your life, you're just going to nickel and dime every single bit of it till it's gone. If you can't make the money in your bank account multiply, like have little babies, if you can't make your dollars have little babies, you're going to go broke. The wealthiest people in the Bible, they had assets that produced other assets. Do you know how to do that? So this goes a lot bigger than just buying and holding something and just hoping you become a millionaire. No, This is a strategy. This is wisdom. This is what Solomon taught. This is what Job and Abraham understood. They were all billionaires, by the way. Well, Solomon was a trillionaire. But the prison clothes are coming off the Josephs. I'm already seeing it. I'm already seeing it on other people that have been following me for a while who got the same memo. I'm starting to see their businesses explode. I'm starting to see their assets explode. I'm starting to see the Lord opening up doors for them that are producing massive harvest. Not for them to go live their best life now on the beach or on the lake, although there's nothing wrong with those things as long as you're putting the Lord first, but it's to build what is about to be torn down by the Lord. Because what he's going to rebuild, America's not going to disappear. It's just going to be something new. It's just going to be something new, and it has to be broken down and it has to be destroyed for the Lord to rebuild what the covenant was to begin with. We're supposed to be a republic. We're not supposed to be a democracy. The people are supposed to decide. We're supposed to be one nation under God. This was all in the covenant that was made with our founding fathers. And the Lord is serious about covenants. When he makes a covenant, he doesn't break it. This is not judgment on America. This is love. This is compassion. And this will bring everybody to their knees. I've been talking about this for 2 or 3 years now, that the harvest will come in, and it's coming in. But it's not coming in until everyone is on their knees, because now they have a reason to look up because things are so hard. They are praying for the Lord to provide food. They are praying for the Lord to pay their bills. They are praying for the Lord to give them clean water. This is how bad it'll get for a season. This is not the black horse, but this is a humbling. The black horse will be worse than what America's going through, because there's always a foreshadow of the real to come. Like before CV19, there was a foreshadow with the flu shot that came. I recognized it then because I have trained myself. I'm better now, and I'm continuing to grow, to live spiritually minded, not carnal minded. When you see in the spirit, then you are able to understand the times and seasons that they're in and what to prepare for the future. Then, when I was being forced, all the hospitals were being forced to take the flu shot, I knew, I was like, this is a trial run for something bigger. I don't know what it is, but this is a trial run for something bigger. And spiritually, it was like this social experiment that was being put on the people, that if we hold their jobs over their head, can we make them do what they don't want to do? And the answer is yes, they did. Then CV19 came, and just like clockwork, what happened with that flu shot situation, or everybody had to get it or they were going to be fired in healthcare or school systems or whatever, CV19 comes and they did the exact same thing, and everybody fell right in line like they wanted them to. Right in line. Created a problem, then they created a solution, and then, a social experiment of let's put everybody in their houses, let's try this out, because we were also going through an election year, so if we can keep everybody in the house, then we can do what we need to do at the polls. This is going to be no different. This is going to be no different. So be wise as serpents, gentle as doves. I really, really, and I will keep pushing this, encourage you. The new ones, or the ones that have questions about the masterclass, here's how it works. When you get into the masterclass at whatever price it is now, you're locked in, which means as I continue to build it, the new courses automatically populate inside the dashboard. It automatically populates. So you'll have everything that everybody else got from the beginning, which is so far it's calculating up to like 4 hours of teaching. And then whatever I continue to add to it, it automatically shows up in your dashboard if you're registered into the class. And I don't know how big it's going to get. We'll discuss. I need to put some networks on there, stocks on there, different strategies about what to do with the capital on there. It's just going to be this plan that I'm working on in my life that hopefully will bless everybody, because it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be difficult. I can't even tell you, honestly. It's going to be so difficult that I don't know. I don't know if I can even tell you that I feel like I'm 100% ready. I don't think any of us can be. We've never lived in a third world country or where electricity goes on and off all the time. and they expect it. What if all of this just goes down? All of our lights, all of our phones, everything. And that brings me to another point. Someone asked me, well, what if the power grid goes down? What about cryptocurrencies? Well, first of all, cryptocurrencies are there to be able to create capital for you to buy cash flowing assets, for one. For two, the entire system is going digital. So it'll eventually come back online, and it'll probably look something like this. My fellow Americans or global Americans, we understand that everything has been lost in this power grid terrorist attack. But we want to issue our new CBDC digital currency. And as you turn on your phones and as you go into your bank accounts, you will see that everybody's been gifted the same amount of money. And this is our new money. Don't worry about fiat anymore, for we can't even use it. But this is the new system, and let's all work together as we figure out how to use it. Something to that effect. But also, too, you got to think, if the power grid goes down, your dollars are gone anyway. Like I just said, everything's taken. We're all up the creek without a paddle. But if you got capital and you were able to be able to become a multimillionaire, and you bought up housing, you bought up water plants, you bought up cattle farms, you bought up businesses, you bought up things that solve a problem, all of those things, even when things come back online, are going to continue to produce whatever currency that we're operating in at that time. Why? Because people need it to survive. Be wise as serpents, gentle as doves. It's all about strategy. It's all about strategy. So my class is there if you need it. If you don't need it, fantastic. Share it with somebody that may need it. And most importantly, be in the secret place of the Most High. Be underneath people that are also telling you the times and seasons that we're in your churches and your tribes. My team and I have created a place where you can find your tribe. We've worked very hard on this, and we're still working on it weekly. We're adding things to the site weekly so you can find your family. A lone wolf is not biblical. It's not, and it's actually very dangerous. You will get supernaturally jumped and wonder why you are suicidal, you're depressed, you can't make it. And in the times that we're coming into, we're going to need each other's giftings to be able to get out of this mess. Help each other. What happens if you can't get your pharmaceuticals, your medications? Is there someone in your church that you know of that's really, really gifted in homeopathic ways of healing the body? Do you know that? I know of somebody in my church. I know a few of them. What about homeschool? What if the school shut down? Do you know any homeschool moms that are very gifted as Deborahs to be able to help you with your children? I do. I don't thrive very well in that, but guess what? I have some women around me that I can go and get right underneath them. Remember how I told you that the Lord taught me, when you're humble, you learn how to be in authority when He tells you, and under authority when He tells you. You have to be able to go in and out of authority as the Lord leads, because you don't know everything and that person doesn't know everything, and the Lord, it pleases the Lord when we work together, when we work and support each other and we work together. You're going to have to know these things. So I'm going to put the link to the Find Your Tribe, my website that we're building, and try to find a church in your area that's Holy Spirit on fire, working in signs, miracles, and wonders, and knows the times and seasons that they're in. That's all that you're going to find on my site. And if you need a strategy, and I really hope that you'll consider it and pray about it, my mentorship coaching class for the cryptocurrencies, and it really is financial strategy about how to navigate this new system and how to be able to build wealth and keep it and multiply it, is on there as well. I love you guys. I am headed out, and you can do this. Let's all be prayed up in the secret place. Let's all be in the right fellowship. Let's all work together. Be obedient to what the Lord's telling you to do. See y'all. Bye.